has changed in the 20 years that I have been traversing this globe, and especially a lot of changes in recent years. To avoid overpacking and bringing unnecessary items with you while you travel, let's go over 9 items that you no longer need to pack. Subscribe to stay tuned to all of the travel tips that I offer on this channel. Coming in at number 1 is underwater disposable cameras. If you're somebody who loves a good beach destination or swimming in pools, then you might really want to capture some of that fun that you're having while in the water. And for such a long time, phones were a little bit scary to put into water. You didn't want to damage your phone, right? A lot of people would go out and buy disposable underwater cameras, something that they could just take with them for their vacation and get some of those things that they really wanted. But new phones are actually fully equipped to go underwater to a certain depth and for a certain length of time. This isn't all phones, so you want to check to see if your new smartphone actually works like this. But as long as your phone is fairly new, has no cracks in it, generally it is equipped to be able to do this. So you can take that video, use it to capture all of the fun that you have in your water adventures. Maybe ensure that you have something wrapped around your neck so that it doesn't slip out of your hands and into the depths of the ocean. Number 2, travel books. When we started traveling about 20 years ago in New Zealand, we thought ourselves a fodder's guide. Lots of people had the Lonely Planet, which was really, really big and chunky. The fodders seemed to be a bit slimmer, and so that's the one that we brought with us. It seemed to have most of the things that we needed. However, nowadays, you certainly don't need travel books because you have everything at your fingertips on your phone. If you need to look up another destination, if you need to look up accommodations, if you need to find the unique thing that nobody else seems to really know about, all those things are at your fingertips on your phone. And so travel books are big, clunky things that you really don't need anymore on your trip. Number 3, big, clunky headphones. Unless you're somebody who really wants like noise canceling headphones, or you're like my kids who just don't for some reason like to have earbuds, big clunky headphones are just not necessary anymore. You can get something really tiny and slim like this. Can you imagine packing this versus this? This one is so much better. Light, compact, easy to put in. Now, if you really do want some headphones rather than earbuds, then maybe consider getting these kind that fold up. Much more space saving and no cords or anything like that. They're Bluetooth. They look kind of cool. Number 4, printed tickets. We don't have a printer at home, and I think a lot of people don't have printers at home, so you don't need to fret on being able to print them before you go to the airport. Just download them on your phone and show them at security and at the airplane, and you're good to go. No lining up at the kiosks and at the airport either, because it's all on your phone. Like so many of these things I'm going to talk about. Number 5, physical travel planners. Now, I think some people just really love, it's almost like a diary or a journal. They just love having that physical book to be able to have all their travel plans in. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying it's really unnecessary anymore. There are so many apps and things that you can use on your phone to be able to keep track of absolutely everything. And you don't have to be connected online to be able to access it. A great example of this is you can have all of your stuff on Google Docs. It's a free thing as long as you have a Gmail account, and you can just put your entire itinerary and all the things that you might need to know on a Google Doc. Those things can even be saved as a shortcut on your home screen so that it is super simple to pull up whether you are on or offline. There are other apps like TripIt that you can also use. I've never used it, but it seems to be a popular one for keeping track of all of your travel plans. Number 6, travel phrase books. I remember when you used to have like these little booklets to be able to help you translate when you go to a country that doesn't necessarily speak your language. But these aren't needed anymore thanks to Google Translate. You're able to use this app on your phone. You can even download the languages that you really want to have. So we spent a lot of time in Spain, so we just downloaded Spanish to English translation, and that was really easy. We also traveled through France, so we just made sure to include that in our downloads of languages so that you're able to easily just go in and translate whether you are on or offline. So you don't have to be online to be able to get that translation to work. The reason I like Google Translate so much is because it really gives you a chance to get into more in-depth conversation with people that don't speak the same language as you. A great example of this is when we were in Spain, we went to visit with an exchange student that we had hosted here in Canada. We went to visit him and meet his parents, which was just such a wonderful experience. And while we were there, his parents didn't speak English all that well. His mom didn't speak any English, and his dad spoke just a little bit. And we just don't speak a lot of Spanish. So we came together, and we really wanted to be able to get to know each other a little better. We used Google Translate the entire time we had a visit with them, and we really got to have full-on conversations because you can just speak into the phone and it will translate as you talk. Now, it's not going to be exact, and some things are going to maybe be a little bit funny or whatever. It's not perfect right now. I'm sure that they continue to try to make it a little bit better. It allowed us to have actual conversations. They would speak in Spanish into their phone. We would speak in English to our phone. We were able to read their translation. They were able to read our translations, and you can even actually have it say it out loud. You can have it voice it for you if you really want to. Anyway, it allowed us to get to know each other a whole lot better during our visit, which is a lot more than I can say for phrase books. Number 7. Big cameras. Again, our phones are miraculous. There are so many things that have become nearly obsolete because of our phones. Now, not exactly obsolete. All of these things are things that people could choose to use if they still wanted to, but you absolutely do not have to anymore. Our phones, new phones these days, are just as good as a lot of cheaper Nikon or Canon cameras. We know this because we've had them in the past. Our phone is just a Samsung S21, and it is quite amazing. That's what I'm filming on right now, and we have actually filmed pretty much all of our YouTube videos using our phone. That is all of our destinations, all of our just talking to the camera videos, anything like that. For pictures, for video, it doesn't really matter. Your phone is likely capable of doing so much more than you might give it credit for. You don't need those big bulky cameras. You can just pull out your phone and use it to capture all of your favorite moments. Number 8. Paper maps or GPS devices. We made a mistake 8 years ago when we went to Jordan. We rented a car, but we didn't want to spend, I didn't want to spend because I'm such a cheapo, $40 extra to rent the GPS for the car. So instead, we just used a paper map. And that was a really silly idea because the paper map came in basically, I think it was an Arabic and English map, but the way that it worked there that we didn't realize, their maps and their signs, a lot of times it seemed to be almost spelled phonetically. So you would go from sign to sign and it wouldn't necessarily be spelled the same, the destinations that you were going to. And so you had to kind of read each sign phonetically to try to understand what it is that you're looking for. We got very lost in Amman, and we even stopped at a gas station to see if they could give us some help with a map to help us read the map and get out of the city so that we can move on in our travels. Even the people at the gas station didn't know how to read the map. We ended up having a beautiful, kind local who helped just lead us kind of out of the city. So we did eventually get on our way to Jerash, which was our next destination, and we learned our lesson from that point on. It is important to have a proper map and device to be able to help us get around. GPS devices that you have to rent in a car are also not really all that necessary because our phones can do it. Google Maps is such a great tool now. Using Google Maps, even if you don't have data, you can actually still use it offline. It is something like so many of the other apps that I've talked about that you can actually download your directions in your map ahead of time when you do have internet and then use it on your drive. They tend to stay far more up to date than even GPS devices. I used a GPS device myself and a friend who went to Iceland. It wasn't updated. Then it's not updated with things like road closures or construction. And so when we were in Iceland using the GPS, we got very lost. Whereas Google Maps stays up to date on all of these things and you can trust generally that it's gonna lead you in the right direction. Coming in at number 9 is cash. At least not a lot of it. We still like to bring cash and foreign currency when we go to different countries because it is important to at least have it for things like tips or taxis and just the odd occasion you might need it. Most places now, you're able to really just use a card when you go. We have a travel visa that doesn't have exchange fees when we are exchanging our currency in another country. If you have something like that or can sign up for something like that, that can save you a lot on exchange rates. The other thing I've heard a lot of people who travel that they use is something called Wise, you actually can get a card and everything that you can use with it. What you can do is just transfer your money from your account to your Wise account. It's either free or very low exchange rates. So Wise is a really good option. Travel visas are a great option. And of course, I still bring a little bit of cash, but not nearly as much as I used to have to. Without these items, you can slim down so much on what you're packing. It's easier, cheaper, less stressful. If you're interested in more travel packing tips, I have this video 12 expert packing tips that you can use to be able to make your travel less stressful. Now, did I miss any items that we no longer need to pack? Put them in the comments below because I would love to hear about them. I will be sharing more travel tips with you, so make sure to subscribe, like this video, and I will see you every further mile.